Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the kit demo. Last time we ended up finishing the demo completely, but there were a few choices that I was really curious about, so I figured that we could just go through them together, like from our load, and just see if anything else happens. Now, I think the largest one is probably going to be this one. I'm gonna... Oh, just kidding. You're not allowed to leave it be. You have to open the box. Okay. After the initial shock, the ability of the magic is not what I dreamed the chest would hold. Okay. Retain. Okay, I lose myself. So last time, after opening this box with the skeleton in it, I retained my composure. This time I'm gonna do I lose myself. Of course there would be a corpse in the cellar. Magnificent. Small wonder that I'm cursed. The only one they call a murderer is a descendant of murderers himself. I swiftly retrieve and uncork a bottle of sherry, then take a large gulp. After some time, and with a pleasant numbness settling over me, I gaze at the box again, my eyes settling on its lonely occupant. Forgive me my outburst. I was not aware that I would share this tomb with another. Let's see. Curled up in the box, the skeleton looks so fragile, almost delicate. You know what I might do? Since we did see the end of the demo, and we can't really get any solid conclusions, I might just go ahead and do the choices, and if there's no real difference, then I'll just skip around for completion's sake. Yeah. It seems like this decision did not yield anything differently. So I am going to go ahead to the other choices. Close the box. I've surely disturbed this poor soul long enough. My apologies once more, my friend. May you sleep well, I say as I close the lid with a gentle thud. Grimly, I cannot help but feel as if I am burying whoever this may be for a second time. Let my gaze linger on the chest, now free of its bindings, 100 new questions forming in the back of my mind. I have a diary to fill, and fewer hours to fill it. Finally, turning away, I set about to retrieve my pen and return to my sorry tale. Okay. So this may be huge, because I think you have like a lot. No, I know you definitely have like a lot of stuff going on whenever you leave the box open. So it keeps doing stuff and comes back to the skeleton repeatedly. So I wonder if I'll do that this time. I, Christian Alphonse Winter, soon to be free of my life, leave this final record of its course. I leave you the tale of my curse and all my thoughts, feelings, and actions. One day, should my corpse be unearthed, that someone in some age might grant me the peace of believing in my innocence. I was born minutes after my sister, Christina, in the bitter winter of 645. My parents thought themselves blessed, a daughter and a son at once. Indeed, my earliest memories are of their love and warmth. As a child, I had wanted for nothing. As a child, I was ignorant of the state of my family's fortunes. I was aware that I was happy and cared for. I knew not that our family's power had been slowly sapped over decades, like a tree stricken with blight. Our territories in Whitehurst hungrily swallowed by the other great houses. Our household staff when I was small was a fraction of its size during my grandfather's boyhood. The wild fields overrun with foliage surrounding the lake were once grand gardens that hosted gatherings for kings and queens. My father, like his father before him, could only take bolder and bolder risk in both investments and alliances in his attempts to restore our power, with all the manner and mania of a gambler. But for a child, those were uneventful years. Yeah, so it seems like there's not much difference. I'm gonna skip it. Okay, so now we're back at the part at Chris's funeral. And last time, I chose to pick Chris. This time I'll go, who are you? Who are you? Call out. The figure is indistinct to her image, swirling and shifting before me like a mist. She does not move her mouth, but I hear a voice all the same, distant and faint, cracked and crumbling like sand. I cannot stop right-clicking and sending us to the save menu. Darling. Christian. Told you. Who? Told me what? Wait. She too melts away before I am given an answer, and I am returned to blackness once more. Something warm that once was warm. I hold it in my hands. Yeah. It's sticky, slick. The beating stops. No feeling, no sensation save numbness. Are you cold? I break slowly, languidly through the edge of wakefulness, returning to the pitch blackness of reality in an empty cellar. Fumble for a candle and clumsily light it, hands shaking terribly. I reach for my journal, think about igniting it, watching the words burn away to nothing while I curl against the wall, close my eyes and hope never to wake again. It would be so easy to simply give in. Walk into oblivion without memory, without resistance. Damn the mists, damn eternity. As I turn the pages absently, my candle flickers over an inscription in a familiar hand. Dear Kid, I do hope you plan to use this. Journaling is a proper habit. I want no excuses when you leave me alone to go off to university. Surely your classes will not be so stimulating or dreadful that you forget to write your older sister. With love, Chris. They had no choice. I failed them. I failed them. No, I did. They had no choice last time. He's talking about his parents here. So I'll say, I failed them. I deserve this. I can never do anything right. No matter how dire the circumstances were, how could I lose control of myself in that way? How could I repay the two people who raised me with this utter disgrace? Set down my pen, close my eyes, and rest my shoulders. Everything hurts. What was that? Okay, so at this point, this is after he's heard the phonograph go off and thought that somebody was in the cellar with him. I did catch some different sort of outcome with the chest, so I'm just gonna start from this point. She never had long to use it, and none of us touched it after she had gone. Yet here it looks well worn, reused and replayed through the years. Who would be creeping down here to play the sound of footsteps over and over, and why? Of course they, like me, only seeking to hear her voice. But if so, why keep it buried in the cellar, and not someplace closer at hand? Sink down to the floor. My head sings with pain. This mystery does not help. Oh, just for clarity, he got the bottle of wine or whatever it was and just kind of chugged it down like crazy. Sort of walking back. I would die for a drink now. Right now. Where was that bottle of sherry? See, I saw him do that before and I just went back so you could see it. I make my way slowly to the shelf where I saw it last, flickering candle in hand. Carefully uncorking it, I take a long draught. The amber liquid is sweet, almost sickeningly so, and yet 1,000 times more bitter than my memories. Back to my journal then, I mutter, hoping for less excitement. Awkwardly tucking the Amontillado under my arm, candle in my hand, I shuffle back to my belongings. I move slowly, my body seeming to protest against a return to my task. And merciful spirits that it did, for I nearly lose my footing and trip over the open chest. Open? Hadn't I closed it? I swore. But sure enough, the skeleton's lonesome skull stares out at me into the dark. It seems there's no denying it, I am going mad. I sink down to the floor beside it, setting the bottle aside with a soft clink. I suppose there's no harm in letting you soak in the delightful cellar air, I sigh out loud. The skeleton does not respond. Raising my candle above the chest, I allow my gaze to fall upon the skeleton again. Old bones, worn ropes, rotting, jagged wood, jutting from its eye sockets, its mouth, its rib cage, in a gruesome display. I cannot decide if it looks like it slumbers, or is rather locked in an eternal silent scream. The sight of its bony fingers gripping the stake in its own chest fill me with a sudden, equally childish, equally horrible thought. I know I had to close the lid. Could I truly have opened the chest again? What if it wasn't I who did so, unremembered? What if something else had? Stop. Stop. You do not have time for this, kid. You're a sorry tale to write and a burial to complete. You're not dying with rites half finished. Would it hurt to check? I look for something else, something to settle this strange unease, lest it consume my every remaining thought. Ignore the idea, let the bones rest, examine the body thoroughly. So we did this examine the bones thoroughly when I had already left the chest open, but that was because at that point he had left a bottle of sherry or left a can or something, a drink basically for it, and he came back and it was empty, like completely empty. And he didn't remember doing anything. So at that point he felt like he was going mad and he was like, I need to check the body in order to do so. I don't know if two differences will make any sort of difference at all. So I'm going to go here to slot 3. And for this, I'm going to ignore the idea and let the bones rest. Which is what I did not do before. I bury the temptation, knowing that the well of a foolish and addled imagination may as well be bottomless. What a bar. Would an investigation yield any answers? What right could I possibly have to dig around the skeleton and disturb a corpse any further? All to settle my fears? Dusted bones it may well be now. But it was once a person with its own dignity. Her own dignity. I remind myself, assuming my prior reasoning correct. Forgive me. I doubt you enjoy sharing a tomb with a madman. Soon I won't be able to disturb you any further. I cannot help but laugh bitterly. Perhaps someday we'll run across each other, far past the other shore. Then you can tell me what a bother I've been. I'll be glad to apologize to you properly. The skeleton does not respond, of course, but somehow the one-sided conversation helps shake off my unease. Giving the chest a gentle pat, I carefully tuck the sherry away and return to my last journal. At last to my journal, I believe. Okay, so now, real quick, I'm going to go back here and see if he does anything different with this. And he'd answer, even if he answers that I'm a fool, a forgotten one, doubtful of his own sanity. Examine the chest first, perhaps there's some flaw, some fault in its design, spring or such that would lift without my touching it. Never mind that the very weight of the wooden lid would defy such a simple solution. I feel the long, dark wood wary of my fingertips capturing splinters. The box is old, but still relatively smooth. An age has not hampered the movement of its solid iron hinges. I cast my light next upon the skeleton. Its stake stuck fast in its eye sockets, the skull cannot be said to look outward. I feel as if it does, as if the empty hollows that once held eyes lock in on my own. Forgive me, this will only take a moment, I say, unsure exactly of whom I'm reassuring. I quickly turn my attention to the binding ropes. They are half rotting, frayed in places, knotted so tightly as to still forbid movement. A clumsy attempt to untie them proves as much. Grimacing, I reach my hand at the bottom of the chest, looking for anything else, any other sign. My fingers brush solid wood and frayed scraps of some sort of fabric, remnants of a garment that the skeleton once wore when it was alive, perhaps. Nothing to suggest it has moved an inch since I disturbed its rest. Fool. A simple, ordinary fool losing his simple mind. It's reasonable, buddy. Despite my findings, the unease in my heart fails to leave me. The pit in my stomach gnawing only deeper. But why? I don't have an answer. Suddenly aware of the skeleton's gaze, I uncomfortably turn away. I regret that I let my childish doubts get the better of me. I say, my voice low and thin. Why do I bother to apologize to a corpse that I've established as no more or less than an ordinary corpse, a pile of bones in a box? My mind is not quite well, to say the least. Giving the chest a final look, I carefully tuck the sherry away and return at last to my journal. This is what he should talk about when they turn 18. Okay, so I think this one might be a little bit better just because he's uneasy. So I'm going to skip this. And here, these are 4 different choices. We had last time. I believe I said I don't need romance to be happy because duty comes before happiness felt too robotic for me personally. Like, if I was in this position where I was worried about love or romance, because that's what they're at right now. They're at the ball. So, or at the dance, gathering, whatever. And they're basically talking about the prospect of getting married to someone So yeah, since it's like the olden times or whatever, you know how it goes. Marry not for love, but for like duty or obligation. He's talking to Chris, his sister, right now in this memory. I want to marry, so I'm gonna see. I don't know if I want to marry. Shift away. I am unsure if I could ever let myself feel that way about somebody, or if I would want to. In some ways, I feel relief thinking marriage is a transaction exchange of powers. No. I think I actually did pick this one. I don't deserve happiness. Let's do that instead. Yeah, because it just kind of skips to this. I turn my gaze to the night sky, blue as ink, speckled with lonesome stars. I don't deserve to exist, yet alone be loved. Felt that before. Yet, as I had no choice over the accident of my birth, neither could I shy away from the duty brought with it. Who would lead the house in my stead? Look after mother while concealing father's indiscretions. I can never leave such an onerous burden to Chris. Are you still upset that Lady Anya refused to dance with you in front of the entire room? I admit I felt as though my soul briefly departed my body then, but that's not what's on my mind. Truly, Chris, I'm fine. You don't sound like it. I'm here for you, kid. Whatever you have to say, whenever you want to say it. I know I would rather take this to my grave before I burden you with it. Sensing my need for distraction, Chris quickly changes the subject. Did you see earlier? Franz accidentally spilt his entire glass on Lady Margaret's dress. I'm glad I did not, for if I were in the room, he would surely have blamed me for his bad luck. Sudden night choke up. Okay, so it seems like they go back to this, and I believe the next part is he's supposed to see that spirit. Stay on the balcony or follow the figure. And the last time I followed the figure for the drama, the plot. This time I'll stay on the balcony with Chris. And I think that these ones in red must mean that they'll actually change something, and the other ones are small dialogue options. That's what I'm intuiting here. So, one head, 4 limbs, no bloody chains as far as I can see. How dull. Then again, the boring ones are the scariest. You'll never be sure it's a ghost or mistwalker until it's too late. Chris. Turn again to the ballroom. The dazzling figure is gone. Had she walked off somewhere else? Or elsewhere? Or did I truly imagine her? Was she really I think I'll go back inside, kid. It really is getting chilly. Go on ahead. I'll stay out here a bit longer. See you soon. Careful you don't run into your ghost. Perhaps I'll ask her to the next dance if I do. I watch Chris go, and turn again to the full moon, alone with my thoughts. Despite my sister's reassurances, my own desperate desires elsewise, my mind wanders back to the subject that saw me out on the balcony in the first place. I decline, Lord Winter. There is nothing I would resent more this evening than to be partnered with you. Ooh, the worst she could say is no, right, gang? Anya. I try desperately to think of anything else, but lose that battle quickly. What have I done to offend you so? I think of summer, of the briefest glimpse of what a conspiratorial gaze, the scent of fresh roses thick but never cloying in the air. I could never expect your favor, nor could I be surprised if your fondness was fleeting, gone with the seasonal rain. But how could I never know how thoroughly you hated me? So absorbed I am in the tumult of my mind that I fail to notice the approach of an all too familiar footsteps. What are you looking out at so feverishly, kitten? Oh my god, he did not just drop a kitten on us. You can't just be thinking of going for a swim in the lake. Franz. I swear my cousin has a supernatural ability to appear when one least wishes to see him, sniffing about for trouble like a hunting dog in search of wild fowl. Franz and I stand at the same height. In fact, I know with some precision thanks to the many comparisons our mother made between us throughout our youths. He is the senior by several months. If one were asked for memory, however, who between us had the higher stature, his swagger and cocked head would likely leave him the victor. Cousin, not enjoying your evening either? An accident with the wine, perhaps? Got a frown on him. I watch, with some satisfaction, as the color in his cheeks turn as red as his locks. You don't want to talk. It's your ball, and you're hiding out here like a rat. So be it. I'll not scurry in your way. What's the matter, kitten? Don't feel like dancing? I'm sure somebody will take pity on you for the last waltz. If you're asking me to dance, I'll have to decline. You... Alright then. Stay out here like a coward. I can hardly believe Lady Frilling ever gave someone like you the time of day. That's all, I'll take my leave. Do be careful not to ruin any more gowns. I can't wait to see you grow miserable and alone, Kit. Eee. There's nothing you can say to me that could dampen my spirits any further, cousin. Enjoy the ball. Evil. I find myself pacing through the grounds away from all of them. All that brightly lit space unsure of my destination. A walk would do me good, nonetheless, I think, recitingly to myself. Like Chris said, the grounds are chilly, this late at night in the middle of winter. I walk briskly through the small courtyard, hands in my pockets to keep warm, soaking in the moonlight. The air, though cold, is blessedly clear and crisp. Yeah, that's my favorite sort of weather. Like, I'm a big fall guy, but man, do I love a winter day. I make my way to the fountain. Actually dry after Simon, our groundskeeper, abandoned his attempts to repair it. A spot I commonly stop and think. I see someone already sitting by the stone angel, hunched over, huddled, shaking. I doubt my own eyes for a long, painful moment. Anya? I call out. The figure turns sharply, and I feel her large, beautiful, cat-like eyes bore through me. She wears a woolen cape over her evening gown, but her willowy frame still shivers like a sapling in a spring storm. Her lips are stained with blood. Huh, so we didn't actually get to see her sprite, because you can see it on the Itch.io page, but I hadn't actually seen it. Looks very nice. Christian? Just as she speaks my name, a violent cough racks her body. She covers her face and coughs into her hands for several seconds. As I rush toward her, I fish my handkerchief from my pocket. Here. She takes it with reluctance. A red handkerchief. How quaint, she says, slowly dabbing off the blood. Do you also often have bloodstains to hide? Or does your sister have a blue one? Are you alright? Forgive me, Lady Furling. I didn't know you were here. That is, I didn't follow you out. I only went for a walk alone. To cool off after I humiliated you. Well, now you know why I want nothing more to do with you, Lord Winter. I'm dying. It's as if she revels in seeing the shock on my face. Dying? That's impossible. Don't pity me, Christian. There's nothing I'll regret leaving. You can all laugh and cry and dance under the sun all your merry little lives. While I will be free of this damnable world. Beast. Pity. Do you think I look at you now and feel something as insignificant as pity? It breaks my heart to see you suffer like this. Describe your own life like it were valueless. Stop it. I'll not have you suffer for me, Christian. Is that why you said nothing? Another omission, another lie? To hold on to a burden you think no one else should carry? If so, you've already failed, my lady. You should have lived without letting a single person come to care for you. Jim Sparsden. Please forgive me. I didn't mean... There's nothing to forgive, my lord. Forgiveness would imply that I disagreed with you. We stand in agonizing silence, 1,000 words unsaid, 1,000 futures endings all suddenly lost. The wind howls with a bitter cold that seems to cut through my skin straight to my bones. My throat feels as dry as the fountain before us. How long do you have? A year. Perhaps 2, if I'm lucky, she says with a mirthless laugh, holding her cape around her as she stands from the fountain. Anya, wait. Ooh, let me stay by your side or I'm sorry. I didn't know we were gonna get a choice here. Bing. Let me stay by your side. Let me hit her with the let me stay by your side. Baby! Let me stay by your side. I can take care of you. So you can swoop in like a vulture after my convenient demise. What is it you want, Christian? My power? Money? Do you see yourself the hero of some tragic story, whose only rewards for his benevolence and misery are misery and suffering? There are few things I care enough of in this life to hate, Christian Winter, but I despise desperate men. Men who think themselves victims of Lady Fortune or fate, and never once ask if they themselves hold any blame. It's not bad luck that I'm afflicted with this illness. It's an accident of life. As you are not an unlucky charm that attracts all of its misfortunes, so much as you allow yourself to be blamed as one. Oh, Steve! Oh, sorry, excuse me. She hands me back the bloody handkerchief, fingers briefly brushing mine, steps from the fountain. Farewell, kid. With that, I'll see you again this side of the shore. She uses shore as well. As a biting wind courses through the midnight air, cooling the burning iron that rushes through my veins, I cannot help myself but turn to look at her once more. He is gone. The figure in white stands before me instead, backlit by the moon, the mist of her hair and gown a dazzling shroud. Yeah, this is so much different than if I had followed her before. Such a different route. Because when I first played it, I don't know if you watched the first video or not, but I never saw Anya. I cannot make out her face, but I can imagine the chill of her gaze. Bravo. You loathe me as well? Must I? I turn away toward the cloudless, star-studded sky. The courtyard begins to shift and darken around me. Familiar shapes and trees melting into the night sky, and gradually into nothingness. I didn't want her to die. I face the spirit shimmering like a fading star. What is it you want? What do you want so badly as to pry into my past, my feelings, my desires? Whether I loved her with the fullness of my heart, or simply sought a solution to my family's burdens, is not your business. I never believed I had a chance, not once, but not because of this. I cradled the bloody handkerchief in my hands. It's not bad luck that I'm afflicted with this illness. It's an accident of life. Life, he said. Tell me, why are we here? What purpose do we exist for? Why do we live? I never asked for any of this. I never wanted to be Christian Alphonse, cursed son of winter, bringer of misery and death. Am I supposed to accept that there is no meaning to any of it? To who I am, whom I love? To any of the cruelties it inflicts? No. Beautiful. From the start. The words she struggles to convey are coarse and faint, like grains of sand slipping away through an hourglass. Never mind. When I awaken, I'll find myself lying in a cold cellar, or the banks of the shore, and then it will matter not. No. Despite her protests, she cannot keep me here, and I already feel myself slip into nothingness. Are you cold, Adele? No. Not while you're here. You are warm. The tips of your fingers to the well of your heart, like veins of a leaf cascading from its stem. Summer, that time of wonder unknown to me, is warm. You must be what summer is like. It is you I adore. Here's the iron that flows through your veins, what I cannot tear myself away from. I'm glad. Hold on just a little while longer. Nice. So I guess Adele is this vampire or whatever that I believe, if I'm misremembering, hope I'm not misremembering, but I believe at the end of the last one, you see like the vampire was like on him, or whatever. So maybe he met this girl out, Adele, whoever she is. The spirit, I'm unsure. So first, I'm gonna go ahead and save here, and then I'm gonna go back to this other spot to see the differences between this dialogue and what is. So just say I'm sorry, and she'll probably have a huge negative reaction again. Say I'm sorry to Anya. I'm sorry for everything. He looks strangely sympathetic, as if I am the one who needs to be comforted now. Maybe. It's not bad luck that I'm afflicted with this illness, it's an accident of life. Just as you are not an unlucky charm that attracts all of its misfortunes. So much as you allow yourself to be blamed as one. She hands me back the bloody handkerchief, fingers briefly brushing mine, steps from the fountain. Farewell, Christian. I doubt I'll ever see you again on this side of the shore. Okay, so she doesn't go off on him. Which, by the way, I can totally see her being like, like gross about, feeling gross about him saying, let me stay by your side. Because given this time and the fact that she has wealth or whatever, I guess, yeah, she could do that. So we'll look at her once more. Let me see. The figure in white stands when you said, back lip of the moon. Okay, so, you pity me as well, must I? And wait for the clouds to dark around me. Just didn't want her to die. Face the spirit familiar. What is it you want? And it seems this is the same. Oh, beautiful from the start. Okay, yeah, it does seem like it's exactly the same. So we're just gonna go ahead and go back here. I awaken with a violent start, gasping for air. Breathe, kid. Just breathe. Inhale. Exhale. I sit, my eyes shut, repeating the motion for several moments before I open them again. The candle is still lit. I haven't been adrift too long. I feel like I've waited through half-remembered dreams for eternity. The dim presence still lingers around my mind, shrouding my thoughts and even my body with lead and weariness. My limbs feel like they're made of fog. Dark splotches cover the open page of the journal lying in my lap. A cold flash of panic cuts through me like ice. Fear that I've ruined the tone with spilled wine. I find the pages dry and intact, caked with a metallic tang of iron. Gingerly, I touch my face and find dried blood on the bridge between my nose and lips, dribbled down my chin. I don't remember this dialogue. Not wine, but simply my lifeblood. What a relief. No, I do actually. Wipe myself at the back of my sleeve. I dimly remember the last time I had a nosebleed as a child, crying and making a mess of Mother's shawl. I haven't much time left. Okay, so we lost her in spring. I think we can go ahead and skip ahead here. Yes, this is when he's on the train with Franz. This is when he's going off to uni. So, hold on, let me go back real quick. Which is true, when we're not Kit, the scion of what? As for whether I wish to be Kit, the scion of winter. I was living. Wait, if only I was better suited to this role, imagining others' lives. Pointless, I never. I believe the last thing I did was, if only I was better suited to this role. Because this, imagining others' lives was pointless, feels such like a pessimistic, I'm not gonna answer, I'm not really gonna get anything interesting out of it sort of thing. I never wanted to be born, sort of along those lines as well. This time I'm gonna say I never wanted to be born. What good had ever come from my birth? I was talentless, useless as everything, but yeah, I think this is what he said in my lessons. I had passively with the rhythm and the chord of the temple of society, utterly lost to its tune. I had no natural graces nor charm, no gift for the sweet words. Did I choose this last time? Because he said the exact same thing before. Me pick imagining other lives is pointless. I was born for nobility, even if I was talentless and ill-suited to my birthright as a lump of firewood. I had no natural graces, no charm. Oh, okay, I see. So he just sort of says the same thing again. I think I have like a huge difference here. So let me go back to These loaded ones, and I think I'm gonna go for this choice here. So, this is right before it's gonna end. See, here he's being sucked on by the vampire. Right? It's probably Adele, I'm guessing. And you can choose to kind of push her away or whatever, but I believe this will just give us different memories. And last time I chose my sister and I as children. I did this, it showed, yeah, those two as children, as long as Sophie, I believe the mother's name is. Going over how, like, you know, brave Chris is versus him. So we're gonna do my cousin asleep in the train car. Or I guess I should probably see. Every bite, every drink is me as a scene I'm forced to live on repeat. So he's saying that this is the scene in his head that he's forced to repeat as he's being, like, drained. I'm in the train again. The noise of the great machine gliding over the tracks thrums like a beat of a mechanical heart. The dimness of the space is cut by a single blade of light from a crack in the curtains. My rival, my shadow, sits fast asleep, motionless across from me. His head drops to the side, his arms loosely crossed as if guarding against some silent enemy in his dreams. The beam from the evening sun catches his hair, turns it from copper to a brilliant red gold, painted like the dappled light that streams through trees in autumn, sets their bows ablaze. First time in my life, he looks innocent, free of loathing. His chest gently rests and falls, his eyes lightly closed, masking the emotions that in waking he was never able to fully hide. Resentment mixed with regret, a yearning behind his hatred for me. These aren't going to be major differences here, right? So, pretty sure I could just... I'll still save anyway, but I'll pick resentment mixed with regret. You ever wonder about it, though? If you'd been born someone else? I could never have imagined my cousin's thick skull housing such thoughts. Franz was their heir to a sizable fortune, son of Margrave, whose bloodline had produced some of the greatest leaders and generals in our history. How could he be dissatisfied with his place in life? I always thought he hated me. I could readily say I felt the same, but his gray eyes, colorless as fog, were ever flowing with feeling, threatening to pour forth his every mood and thought. Why did I detect jealousy mixed with this distaste whenever he looked at me? As the train slows down and pulls into the station, the mechanical vessel returning to the city's restless heart remains fast asleep, lost in unknowable dreams. I think of all the times he'd pull my hair when we were young, tug at it until I cried, and think for a fleeting moment of exacting petty vengeance. I shake him gently. Hurry up, we've arrived. Alright, spirits, I'm awake. Outside, the last vestiges of sunlight welcome us to Lindburn, and the new chapter of our lives. It is strangely fitting to greet it together, loathsome as he'd always been. I cannot imagine a life without Franz Leonard Herbst as an actor in it. I lie motionless, gasping. I feel lighter with every sip that passes her lips. Every moment that could as easily be an eternity. In a strange, somber way, it soothes me, drifting in a state that is neither sleep nor death. Life nor dream, floating on nothing but soft waves that beckon to a distant shore and farther sea. The past 3 years I thought I lived as a hollow shell, but I was wrong. How could true emptiness be this blissful? Voices and images form around me, evanescent and pale, swirling like snow, yet gentler than the winters I knew in that crumbling castle of stone. A sharp pain rings through me at the recollection of those tall towers, that place so strange yet achingly familiar. Why do I feel this way? Shouldn't I recognize the castle I lived in all my life? I realize these feelings are not mine alone. Her presence above me against my throat ebbs with the afterglow of her own thoughts and memories. Every taste leaves a trace of herself behind, like pen strokes imprinted on a page. Who are you? How do you know this place? It broke. There is no reply as she continues to search, unsated, confusion and frustration growing wilder, bordering near despair. I try to move my phantom limbs. I find I can barely lift my fingers. And here, last time I did struggle, resist, wake up, wake up, wake up. Right, so this time we'll do lie still and let her feast. Because this is very, very close to the end now. Of the demo, at least. I lie back and cease resisting. Struggle only to lift my hand and raise it, wavering to her cheek by my throat. I rest there, then softly stroke her misty hair as cold tears land on my face, our unvoiced sobs echoing in our shared essence. It's alright, I whisper, comforting this being that would consume me whole. How could I do otherwise? I felt and feel her suffering as my own. I could not think to do less. I don't know if or when she ceases shuddering, whether she lets me go. All I know once more is darkness. Sweet, true, things. I think that's probably it, right? Sit on the rocks near the lake, watching the clouds pass above. The waters ripple in the wind, mild for this time of year, borrowing the stark white hues of nearby birch trees. Frost lines the grasses, wavering in the shade. Soon, the waters too will be frozen. I scarcely come to the lake anymore, to no one's surprise, but I needed to be alone. I fiddle with the pencil in my hand, absently scribbling notes over a blank score whenever melodies come to mind amidst the wild tangle of my thoughts. A single red ribbon floats by, drift on the waves. I shiver, doing up the buttons of my coat. They gleam in the waning sun. I pause, confused, then examine them closely. This is not my old coat. It's the one that father had given to me as an apology, made of soft black wool and bespoke silver buttons. The one that swiftly became ruined, though that was the least of my concerns when my aunt and cousin arrived after. It is that day. Not this day. No. No, 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 no. 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 Okay, so we don't like this day. I see. I get to my feet and turn around. He isn't here yet. I can run. But there he sits, silently, a few feet away from me on these rocks, fiddling with his fine lambskin gloves. I scramble backward and nearly lose my footing. Stay away, Franz. Yet, I'm not going to hurt you, he said softly, soberly. I can't harm you here. I'm not real. Why are you haunting my dreams? You can say all you like once I'm dead. I'm just a figment of your imagination. Maybe you should ask yourself. Maybe you want my spirit to pester you. He laughed. You're the last person I want lingering in my mind, Franz. Why did you do it? Did you want me dead? Or did you just want to ruin my life? He sighs, his gray eyes reflecting too many emotions all at once. I got the world in my hands. I wanted you to know it. I wanted to be better than you, for once. You were clever, poised, perfect. I just wanted to see what you looked like. I broke you. The bitterness that wells in my throat threatens to choke me, drown me. I squeeze my eyes shut, gritting my teeth. You did break me. I trusted you, then you treated me like I was nothing. But I guess you were too busy to realize it, too important to notice someone like lowly Kit Winter, who you could cast aside so damned easily. When I look at him again, he avoids my gaze. I could tell you that I'm sorry, Kit, and I am. Trust me now, I didn't plan for either of us to die. I guess it was entirely my fault. I scoff. I certainly know that you didn't plan to die, Bronzehurst. But you may be the only person in the world, living or dead, who thinks the fault was yours. I know I wronged you, Kit. Apologizing doesn't change anything now. The only thing you need to do is wake up. What? In a second, he is in front of me, grabbing me by the shoulders. I brace myself to be plunged headfirst into the water. He only holds me firm, staring into my eyes, pleading. I'm sorry for everything. But don't think about this anymore. Just wake up. Wait, Franz. I reach for him in vain as the lake melts away, the sky, trees, and wind soon following. This is completely different from last time, by the way. My bones leaden as nothingness swallows me, thoroughly and completely. I awaken on the cellar floor, rough stone beneath me. Weight lies on my chest. Something is in my arms. Cool, hard, hollow, and brittle. I open my eyes. Stare back into a human skull. The skeleton is on top of me, enveloped and enveloping me in a chilling embrace. And then, I lose my senses. Are you cold, Adele? Ah, okay, I see. So, and then this is going to show after he... It seems that, like, they had already met each other. Like, I guess they'd known each other for, like, a little while, and he had, like, come out here repeatedly. They were, like, holding each other or whatever. But right now, this is from Adele's point of view. And that's why you see it like this now. Sorry to speak too loudly. Sated. Fresh iron makes me giddy and with wonder, so I think he's just been like feeding her himself. Because when they say iron, they mean blood, right? Because blood tastes like iron. I agree. Since gleaming moonlight, climbing trees, I don't think anything is going to be different. I'll hide you over winter, it won't be too difficult. The halls aren't in use, and if anyone hears something, they'll think it's a ghost or Mistwalker. Yeah. Indeed, my Mist Queen, he replies. You are the one who looks like he came from the mist, I think. Watching his silver hair gleam like gossamer over the in the night. The sliver of a moon reflected in his pale blue eyes. But unlike Mist, his hands around mine is warm. I hold on to it tightly, never once looking back. And this is where the demo ends. So now, I'm going to skip that. That was just a little note from the developer. Let me go to the gallery real quick. So there's one that I'm missing here. I'm not sure how to get that one. So take a load, go take a look at some of the stuff that I didn't do. Push off. What is this? Examine the bones thoroughly. No. Pretty sure there was one where you can choose to take when he hears the phonograph going off, you can choose to take a shard of glass or a steak, and I think this is it. Yeah, here it is. Use a piece of glass. After he hears it, he doesn't know it's the phonograph, though. I swallow, considering it for a second. I don't. I ignore the stakes and settle on a broken piece of glass instead, hoping it will suffice. Holding it carefully before me, I inch toward the sound. I don't know what the difference is between this and that, though. Closer and closer, louder and louder, coarser and coarser. Phantoms possessed, that's it, again from the start. Okay, so let's skip. So the skills from rescue. I settle down in the box, and I'm getting a cup, I'll drink it out of space. When I raise the cup to my lips, it's empty. Bone dry, yep. Okay, so I'm gonna skip around a little bit and see if I can get this last picture. So here it seems that I did something a little bit different and got some dialogue that I hadn't seen before, so we're just gonna go back where he's being sucked off by assumedly Adele. I struggle only to lift my hand and raise it, wavering to her cheek to my throat. I rested there, then softly stroke her misty hair. Okay, so we can go. It's alright, I whisper, comforting her. So we came back to a different memory. Instead of having the one where Franz shows up as like a spirit of sorts and tells you to wake up, we get here instead. It's a beautiful spring morning. The sun is bright but not harsh, the wind cold but unforceful. Birds sing eagerly in choruses of chirps and chirrups in nearby trees. I sit on the rocks by the waters of the lake, watching the clouds reflected in its surface. Chris sketches something in a notebook beside me, humming. Stella lazes in the shade. I see Comet swish his tail at a butterfly impatiently. I breathe in and sigh contentedly. Aren't you glad I dragged you out here? So I can freeze my hands off? I'm joking, of course. It is lovely to get away from that place. The air here is so nice. She sets down her pencil and sighs, gazing at the water. Why don't you come out here anymore, just like this? I used to love going to the lake. Just like this. You know why I stopped. It'll never be like this again. Kit. It's been so hard without you, Chris. Look at me. I was never perfect like you. I can never ever hope to compare. And sometimes I think of you and get so angry that you left me behind. Even though it was my fault that you're gone. Right, because he blames himself for he took her out on a horse ride and the horse basically freaked out for whatever reason, dipped off. The dad had to find her body. However it happened. There was no, like, real details. Just that the horse ran off and they found her body. What kind of horrible, twisted person am I? Kid, she says gently, putting her hand on mine. I don't blame you for what happened, nor for what happened afterwards. I never have and I never will. I love you. I love you too. I miss you so much. So much I want to say to you. So much I want to hear about. We don't have time for that right now. You need to wake up. What? Wake up, Kit. Chris, wait. I reach for her in vain as the lake melts away. The sky, the clouds, the trees swiftly following. Okay, so it seems they're the same thing here. My bones let into nothing swallow me thoroughly and completely. Right, and we should wake up to the skeleton on top of us. Yep. Oh wait, it's got the steak in its mouth. Right, because this is where I took the class. Instead, I didn't pull the steak out of his mouth, and then I lose my senses. Okay. Right, and it seems we got the exact same thing here. Still don't know how to get this. So this is apparently after that. What choices do I have to make in order to get this? I will return. Oh! Oh! Wait, I don't even know what I did. Alright, we're gonna start from here because I unlocked the third option. Somehow, so I really don't know what I did. I made a couple of choices that I think were just more like pro-vampire or whatever, I don't know. A weight lies on my chest. I struggle to breathe. I'm enveloped in darkness. My limbs are stiff, unmoving. I lie on my back but feel nothing beneath me. The only sound in my ears is the crashing of endless waves over an infinite sea. Gentle hands frame my face. Cold like ice, formless as mist. Stroking my hair, Moot trying vainly to soothe me. I shiver helplessly at her touch. I know now what she wants from me. I am bloodless, but not hollow. I have cried, I have lost, I have fallen again and again. 1 in 20 years of sorrow and agony. Pitiable beast, sorry excuse for delicacy. Please, I gasp, finding my voice. She brings her lips to my throat. Cold pinpricks puncture me like thorns. Essence leaves me, swirling around us, one with the mists of an unending sea. There are tears in my eyes. Why does it hurt to give these pieces of myself away? Why do I not do so freely? I'll be gone soon, less than dust. Can it be that I still hold them close to my heart? Are they fragile scraps of tenderness that I refuse to yield to anyone but myself? Or are they shards embedded in the depth of my psyche, buried presences I can never touch lest I bleed? As she partakes of my essence, so too do I feel the faintest echo of hers. She devours not only as to sate herself, but in search of something. Recognition, remembrance, recollections of herself in my memories. Why? You remember me. She searches hungrily, sifting through thoughts and images, sounds and sensations. Every bite, every drink of me is a scene I'm forced to live to repeat. I see. And then I get to choose here, see? A girl in a garden of blooming roses. Nice. What if I close my eyes? Then I wouldn't be watching you. Promise me you won't look. I promise. I hover over the keyboard, fingers lightly touching, but not holding down the keys. My arm shaking. It could be tossed into a roaring flame, and not even that would warm the ice in my limbs. I don't know how long I've stared down at the row of black and ivory. The girl sits sideways at the very edge of the bench next to me, still facing away. She hasn't moved an inch. Turned around like Orpheus, she sits, ever patient, untempted. Take a deep, slow breath, then another. After what seems like aeons, I begin to play. Feel a complete fool. My long, awkward fingers stumbling over a simple, lifting melody. I couldn't do this for anyone else. Piano, the thing that I loved, yet threatened to devour me if I performed in another's presence, even for Mother, Chris. But somehow, my hands continue to play, chord after chord, note after note. It is at once terrifying and exhilarating. Like I am taking flight with brand new wings, diving, falling. I brush her shoulder with my arm as she sways in her seat. She still hasn't turned around. Let my hands flow to their own rhythm, dancing across the keys, bringing my mind to wander. Imagine the deep green eyes that lie behind her lashes. The girl is... yeah. Someone I could call a friend at last, the only person I could offer my heart to. Let's go on and save. Someone I could call a friend at last is what I'll choose. I'll just come back and see what the other dialogue option says. Can I open my eyes now? She asks as I finish playing. Hold on, just a moment. I silently take her feathered fan and tickle her nose while she's defenseless. Christian! She shouts, sneezing, opening her eyes wide. I grin. Recompense for making me do the most terrifying thing of my life. Coward. Next time, I swear I'll turn around. My heart is still beating like I've run for miles, my hands cold and clammy like the mist. But each beat against my rib cage reminds me that I could do what I thought impossible. I laugh until I'm out of breath. Her annoyance melts into a hint of that rare and singular smile. I feel like a bird able to fly at last. Oh, that's so cute. My Sheila. Motionless gasping. Ah, I see. So we're back here now. So now we're just gonna load and see what that other dialogue option is, and I believe that's gonna be the last thing for this. The only person I could offer my heart to. Can I turn around now? She asks as I finish playing. Yes, but don't open your eyes. She shifts, swinging her skirts over the front of the bench, eyes shut tight. I had just done what I previously thought impossible, and could I do this as well? Hesitantly, I brush a stray lock of hair away from her face. She shivers, surprised by my touch, but relaxes, parting her mouth expectantly. I meet her lips, soft as rose petals with mine. My heart beats too rapidly, like I've sprinted for miles. I dare hold her, run my clammy hands through the waves of her chestnut hair. But this is enough, more than enough. It is wonderful. I feel like I'm soaring. Aww. That's cute. And with that, it's pretty much a wrap from this point. Whoa, 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 hold up. Sweet True Nothingness, okay. Latticed windows look out to an autumn sunset. The last roses furling their dying petals, splashes of crimson amidst bare branches and browning leaves. Golden light filters into a room ornamented with florals in glint. Gilt. Gilt. You know, they've been using a lot of words that I have never used in my life or seen spelled out. Nice. Golden light filters into a room ornamented with florals and gilt, paintings of fruit and forests and hills hanging from its pastel-colored walls. 12 white camellia flowers lie in an elegant vase over a table trimmed in linen. A voice, soft and clear, calls to me. I turn and see her, sitting on the piano bench. Long brown hair neatly plaited save a loose strand across her brow. I turn and see her, hands resting delicately on the sides of her white dress. Play for me, she orders. I walk toward the piano, take a seat next to her. Her eyes never leave me, gleaming like a cat's. I lift the polished wooden cover, hover over the keys. It's wrong. This never happened. Anya, you never watched me play. Like this. The hand light as a feather, she touches my shoulder. Because I'm not real, Kit. Not a spirit, not a memory, just a figment of your sorry little imagination. Sorry indeed. If this were my imagination, I would think I would see you blushing beneath the veil, with the two of us sitting in the garden 10 years older, a small green-eyed child on each knee. You're a hopeless, wretched fool, Kit Winter. So are your dreams. Instead, I sit here, listen to you speak words that I resent yet utterly deserve. Smile another bitter smile, the kind she always hated, hollow and lifeless behind the eyes. A dream it may be, yet still it feels no different from the manner I knew in life. She looks the same as she did those fleeting months, a wisp of a girl whose spirit could never be contained in her small frame. I attentively reach for her, find she is solid to the touch, fleeting. She wraps her fingers around mine a moment before withdrawing her hand. Kid, stay here. Forget me. You need to wake up. Anya, wait, please. The night of the ball, I was a coward. I wanted to tell you that I would have stayed by your side to your last breath. Please, it's too late now. I can't hear your apologies. I'm dead. Wake up. Anya. I reach for her in vain as the room melts away, the warmth and the light and the scent of the flowers soon following. My bones leaden as nothingness swallows me, thoroughly and completely. Go. Solid floor, stone beneath me. Bing, bing, bong, 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 bong. Nice. Now we've done all of it. So that's gonna be it for the kit demo. I know I glazed the hell out of the developer for the writing before, in the last video. So, you know, I enjoyed this so much. I just wanted to make sure that at the very least I saw everything, right? Yeah, so. Anyway, the story seems pretty good. I really hope they do eventually finish this. They're still working on stuff, you know. I'm a fan. You can't force them to like do anything. So I'm just hoping. But like I said, I will check out their other works. But with that, Thanks for watching this video. If you made it this far, I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next one. Adios.